Here are the 5 layers to tech. Most sales reps can name vendors, very few can actually explain why those vendors exist. And that's the gap between knowing the logos and understanding the landscape is the single biggest reason most reps stall out at SDR level or take a job at a company that's quietly dying and don't realize it until their quota gets cut. I spent nearly 5 years in enterprise tech sales at MoveWorks. I built the APAC region from scratch, 13 straight quarters of net new logos before we got acquired by ServiceNow. None of that happened because I was the smartest seller in the room. It happened because I understood the landscape better than people I was competing against. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to give you the exact framework I now teach every double triple client. Whether you're breaking in or you're already an AE trying to move up market, this is the foundation. The macro wave. AI is eating SaaS. Before we talk about any company, you need to understand the wave we're in, because the wave determines who's winning, who's losing, and where you should plant your career flag. There have been 3 big waves in tech. Wave 1, 1980s through to the 2000s, was on-premise software. Software shipped on a CD, installed in a data center, long upgrade cycles. The winners were Oracle, SAP, Microsoft, IBM. They got disrupted by cloud delivery. Wave 2, the 2000s through to the early 2020s, was SaaS subscription delivery, internet native, faster iteration, lower upfront cost. The winners were Salesforce, Workday, Zendesk, and HubSpot. That's the wave most working reps today actually grew up in. Wave 3, right now, starting around 2023, is AI, specifically agentic AI. And here's the critical distinction. AI is not just adding features to SaaS. AI is replacing the entire workflow. The agent does the work. The SaaS incumbents are getting unbundled. The early winners are Cursor, Harvey, Glean, Wiz, Palo Alto. Here's the takeaway. This pattern repeats every 15 to 20 years, and every time it happens, a generation of sellers either rides the wave up or gets caught flat-footed at a company that's being disrupted. Pattern recognition is what protects you. So if you're elevating a company right now and their single feature SaaS tool with no AI roadmap, that is a flashing red light. Okay, now let's zoom in. Every company in tech sits on one of these 5 layers. If you can identify the layer, you can predict the buyer, the competition, and the size of the deals. This one mental model will change how you read every job ad and every pitch deck. Layer 1, the infrastructure layer. Chips, cloud compute, data centers, and networking. Everything else in tech runs on top of this. NVIDIA, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, Cisco. Infrastructure deals are massive, multi-year deals. You're selling to CIOs and CTOs. Layer 2 is the platform layer, the connective tissue from the databases, identity, APIs, security platforms, companies like Okta, Snowflake, Palo Alto, Salesforce platform. Platform deals are sticky. Once they're embedded, switching cost is enormous. Layer 3 is the application layer. This is the horizontal software people actually use day to day. There's the CRM, collaboration, productivity, like Slack, Zendesk, Zoom, and Monday.com. Application is where most SDR jobs are advertised. These are faster sales cycles, smaller deals, but high volume. Layer 4 is the vertical or functional layer, purpose-built for one industry or one function. Think of Harvey AI for legal, Harrison AI for healthcare, Workday for HR. Vertical is where some of the biggest career wins are happening right now because these companies own a niche end to end. Layer 5 is AI and agentic, the current wave we are in. Models, agents, orchestration, OpenAI, Anthropic, Cursor, LangChain. This layer sits across every other layer. It's the disruptor. Here's a tactical takeaway. When you see a job ad, before you do anything else, ask which layer is this company on. That single answer tells you that your buyer looks like, what your competition looks like, and roughly what your deal size will be. Where you sell matters. Layers aren't enough. You also need to understand the category maturity, because where you sell matters just as much as what you sell. There's a new emerging technology, new categories being created, and long sales cycles. Think of generative and agentic AI today. High risk and high upside. Pre-revenue to about 50 million ARR and founder-led sales teams. And if you're stuck in early career, this can be risky, but there's enormous upside in these companies. Growth proven value, fast adoption, high competition, cloud security, data platforms, and AI and infrastructure, 50 mil to 500 million ARR, Series C and beyond. This is where MedPick actually earns its keep because the deals are real and the competition is sharp. This is the sweet spot for most sellers. Best comp plans, best career velocity, maturity, ERP, networking, most platforms and vertical SaaS. 500 mil plus ARR are process heavy, structured, but however these are stable income, but slower progression. Avoid these unless you are specifically the displacement story. Here's the mistake I see all the time. Reps take a role at a mature or declining company because the brand sounds impressive, and 3 years later, their territory is being cut and their quota is going up. Stage determines your quota, your ceiling, and your career velocity. So pick the stage deliberately. There is a framework I want you to actually use. These 6 questions, every company I want you to look at. No expectations. Run this before every interview, pitch, and cold call. Question 1. What layer is this on? Is it infrastructure, platform, application, vertical, or AI? Determine the buyer, the competition, and the deal size. Question 2. Who's the buyer? Is it the CIO, CTO, CISO, CFO, or CMO? What keeps them up at night? And is this the product that actually is helping them solve their pain? Question 3. What's the category maturity? Emerging, growth, maturity, or is it declining? Question 4. Is it a must-have technology or a nice-to-have? Does this solve a problem that can't be ignored? Or is it the first-line item cut when budgets tighten? We'll go deep on this in a minute. Question 5. What's the go-to-market motion? Product-led, enterprise top-down, channel-led? Does the motion match your skill set? Question 6. Where's their money? What's their ARR growth, burn rate, funding stage, path to profitability? Are they actually commercially healthy, or are they 2 quarters away from laying everyone off? Pro tip, drop these 6 questions into Claude with the company name. You'll get a draft answer in 30 seconds that beats 99% of candidates walking into the interview. Same product, different exec, completely different sale. You have to know who's signing and what keeps them up at night before you walk in the room. The CIO cares about efficiency, manage integrations, and simplify the IT estate. ServiceNow, Okta, Cisco. Their language is consolidation and uptime. The CTO cares about building and scaling. Ship faster, run reliable. GitHub, Datadog, Snowflake. Their language is a developer velocity. The CISO cares about risk and compliance. Protect, detect, respond. Palo Alto Networks, CrowdStrike, Zscaler. Their language is breach prevention and board reporting. The CFO cares about ROI and process. Cut costs, lift throughput, Workday, SAP, Oracle. Their language is unit economics. The CMO cares about growth and revenue, pipeline and retention. Think about Salesforce, HubSpot, or Marketo. Their language is conversion and CAC. Now zoom out one more level, the buying team. Modern enterprise tech has 4 layers in the room. The board cares about cyber risk, regulatory compliances, and AI strategy. The C-suite cares about competitive advantage and operational resilience. The owner, your CIO, CISO, and CTO all care about architecture, security posture, and delivery velocity. The practitioner, IT leaders, and security analysts, engineers all care about whether the thing actually works and whether it's going to make their life easier. You need to map out all 4 layers before your first call. Sales Navigator gives you the org chart. Claude summarizes the company strategy. Do this before every single first meeting. And one big call out here is the practitioner can kill your deal after the signature. Champions, get them early, and a hostile IT team will sandbag implementations and you'll lose the renewal. So therefore, must-haves versus nice-to-haves. Of everything in this video, this one thing matters the most for your career. And nice-to-have is the first thing cut when budgets tighten, long sales cycles, and no urgency. You're discounting to close. Churn is high at renewal, and you're always selling against do nothing. A must-have is the opposite. The budget survives every freeze. Inaction has real consequences. Price is secondary to risk. Retention is high because switching cost is real. And there's a named exec personally accountable for this. The cleanest example is cybersecurity. Take Palo Alto Networks, a $10 billion in ARR, 100,000 plus enterprise customers, and every deal is a non-negotiable. Why is this? 1. Regulatory and compliance risk is a non-negotiable. A breach is a board level event, not a tech failure. CISOs cannot skip security spend. 2. The CISO is personally accountable if the network gets breached and Palo Alto wasn't running. That's a career-ending conversation. 3. Switching costs is enormous. Ripping out a firewall means retaining teams, retesting policies, re-architecting the network. Renewals are nearly automatic. When you sell a must-have, you don't lead with features. You lead with risk. The question on every deal is, what is the cost to your business of not solving this? And if the honest answer is existential, congratulations, you're selling a must-have. If the answer is, we'd be a bit slower, or it would be a nice to have, pause and ask whether you actually want to build a career on that quota. I'll leave you with the 3 habits that compound. 1. Conduct research and market intelligence consistently. Get good at prompting Claude and pick one global source and one regional source. Think of A16Z, TechCrunch, AFR, Wired, CNBC Tech, truck funding rounds, acquisitions, regulatory moves, 20 minutes a day, every single day. 2. Always ask, so what for sales, on every story you read. 3 sub-questions. Does this create urgency for a buyer? Does it validate or threaten a vendor I sell against? Does it signal a new category emerging? If you can't answer all 3, you're consuming content, not building intelligence. 3. Map out every new company to the framework. The 5-layer stack, the 6 questions evaluation, and the buyer map. Drop the company name into Claude, win the prompt, and summarize this company, what they sell, who buys it, where they sit in the tech stack, and what the must-haves argument is. That one prompt run consistently will put you ahead of 95% of those reps you're competing against. Now look, tech evolves faster than any job description. Sellers who understand cycles always land on the right side. Pattern recognition is what protects you from joining a declining category and what positions you to ride the next wave up. The best sales careers I've seen are built on deep market knowledge, not on closing tactics. Most candidates walk in knowing the product, few walk in knowing the industry. The gap is your competitive advantage. If you found this useful, hit subscribe, and we're publishing tactical content like this every week. And if you want the full double triple framework, the link is in the description below. I'll see you in the next one.